Hello and welcome back to RailRoads Online. So today we are running cordwood. Um, I guess the unique thing with this load is we did pick up a new locomotive for running cordwood. As you can see, we have the 4 loaded cars all ready to go, and we did pick up a Montezuma for the cordwood. Figured it's not going to be a big load. Wanted something that would be working in the process, and so we picked up Montezuma. Went with the little stack on it. Did put the light on it. COMP Railroad on the side. Went ahead and named it Walter for Walt Disney. Because it is the Disney train. So we did put the number 4 on there, and that's the new pickup. So we will take it out and see, show how it handles this one, I guess. It is kind of nice because it's got the little tinders, so at least running out of wood like you would with Eureka all the time won't be such a thing. And was kind of the thinking behind it. And it's not super overpowered, so it's not just gonna, this load is not just gonna be some blow away, really easy load to do with Montezuma, that's for sure. So we could have definitely thrown a bigger locomotive on here. Did run some cordwood with the Class 48 before switching to this one. The Class 48 was just kind of overpowered as far as I was concerned for this kind of a load. Want something that's actually going to work and make the load kind of a challenge and fun to do, not just overpower it and maul it, if you will. So we did choose to go with Monty, or Walter. Sorry, the old Montezuma was named Monty, so that's going to be one to get away from. But Walt here should do just fine, cruising down the old rail, and it's small, so it's not going to have such a hard time dealing with little switches and or bobbles here and there is kind of the idea. It's definitely not overpowered for this load. As you'll see, which was kind of, like I said, that was really the idea. It does fit a little better, if you ask me, with the cordwood than Betsy. Betsy looks really small. The porters just look really small on the front of cordwood trains, just because of the bulk that is the cordwood load. So I wanted something that was a little bit bigger without going too crazy. And I think this will be a practical use for Montezuma. It's not insane. Now, how well it handles the 3% grade in and out of the Smelter Valley is a whole different animal. As we kind of know, Montezuma is not a big fan of the mountains. Big drive wheels, not a lot of them, and not a heck of a lot of oomph or size behind that. So I do not anticipate it being super easy for people to run it on this, but that was the idea, again, was to keep the load a little bit of challenge. I've been asked the same thing about the run coming down from the iron mine and why I kept it so steep, and to be quite honest, it's there to be a challenge. I don't want the track just to be boring, set it, forget it, and leave your train. I do want an engineer to actually have to be driving the train rather than just zooming along. That is kind of the idea. So that being said, try not to just make everything super, super easy. Everything works, everything functions, and if you if you drive within respectable windows and heed caution to what's coming, the track works and you don't derail and everything runs just fine. That's kind of the idea, is to keep it a little bit of a challenge and not just make it a sleeper. So, addressing that. If you haven't had a chance to check out the last video, the new layouts out there in the new giant spline that is out by the Ironworks is worth taking a look at. So it's pretty interesting bridge spline out there, I think. Oh, wait. No, we do want to go that way, so that's fine. We are going to have to slow down, though, because we are approaching. This is sort of dead man's curve on this. I mean, not, but if you can't fly it in here at super speed with the way that it drops down and turns, you probably dump a locomotive. So we will slow it down a bit here. As you noticed, I did throw full brakes on the tender. I do not anticipate Montezuma's brakes doing great things going downhill with this much weight behind it. The locomotive is just too light. A lot of your braking really does have to do with the size and the weight of the locomotive, especially in game. I'm not so sure what that really translates towards real, but then I mean I'm sure it makes sense. The bigger your locomotive, the better the brakes, and the more it can actually, hold up behind it. As you can see, with the brakes 100% on the tender, it actually makes this controllable coming down here. But there's still no, like, if you just hit the brake to stop, you're not stopping. It's not that kind of controlled load, and you could maybe grind it to a stop with 100% brakes on, but I don't even know that that's true. You can probably just slow the progression unless you throw some brakes on the cars. So it's still stoppable, but it is pushing the limit, being that the Montezuma is just so small. Walt is not a very big locomotive, just all there is to it. Weight's down, but the thing is, it's cheap, and it's going to run this load for, it's going to be able to run cordwood for a very long time with the amount of wood that's in the back of this thing. So that was really the thinking and the thought behind the process. A couple of sticks of wood will just about get you a round trip, or at least get you each direction. So 2 sticks in per load, or per journey, if you will, per trip. And it seems to do okay. Did go with the little stack, as I said. I just think it looks cool on this one. I had debated about this one or the third stack. Chose the second just because I think, it's the only one that's like that small that you can get away with having at this point in the game. So, kind of just for fun, I guess. Did keep the bright color on it. Did consider going with the blacked out one, but quite frankly, we have enough blacked out locomotives that I wanted to get a splash of color where it was possible, and that's there. Not sure if this one can handle it or not, but if it can, we are probably going to throw a way car on the back of this one for some added braking in the back when we're running multiplayer. Just to give your brake man someplace nice and solid to be. So I think we will throw a nice caboose on, or a way car. Probably just a way car for this one, being that, it is 800 pounds. I think we looked it up the other day when we were playing. It's like 800 pounds difference or something, maybe just 5, but a couple hundred pounds lighter. So when it comes to the little Montezuma, we will try to save as much weight anywhere we can, quite frankly. So, because as you can see, it does not go tearing off with this load. The uphill should be fairly interesting. Pulling these out of here, empty or no. It definitely would not pull them up loaded. I mean, if you had to pull these uphill loaded, you can forget it. It's not going to happen. The only reason it works is because it's all a downhill run. So, loaded, it would definitely not happen. That's for sure. But again, for in here with this, you know, with the swivelly landing and all the rest of that, Montezuma is not a bad sized locomotive to have to deal with it. So, see if we can drop them on the roll without losing too many. Yeah, those all worked. Cordwood. Not too many people's favorite drop off. Always kind of a pain, depending on how you do it. The old move over drop, I definitely miss. Not sure if we'll do that. If we'll have the cars to to spend doing that. If we get there, we get there. I'd rather have a couple of cabooses or some way cars or something at this point rather than just have loading cars. Not sure if this is gonna creep far enough or fast enough. Fast enough, far enough, that's for sure. Sucking down our iron already, but then, you know, that one's a good one to run just because it just keeps stocking the bank. So even if you do have to run iron, never a disappointment running iron. At least that's how I look at it. That's one of the loads I do not mind having to do. It sure pays. Excuse me. Pays very well and gets you on your way to buying locomotives, that's for sure. We have picked up a few locomotives recently and still doing okay in the money department. Though we have some expensive cars coming up with the oil, so I believe those are like $1,400-1,500 a piece or something like that. So several thousand we'll have to invest in the rolling stock to get the oil moving, but that'll be kind of the next place I think that we're taking the setup is a new locomotive for pulling the oil and the oil cars, and then I think past that we're just on to quality of life improvements. So picking up some cabooses and rolling stock here and there until we get the numbers to where things match up good and things are a little faster to do. Starting to get there. This layout is now pretty well complete as far as build. It's now just kind of a production thing, or mainly. A few things will probably smooth out here and there along the way, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. So there we go, getting back to some iron, which we definitely need. The coal mine is going to need more rails. Everything is needed at this point, to be honest. We have load after load after load that we need everywhere with everything. So, still have not gotten to the oil. Haven't moved any oil yet. Don't have tankers. So, earning the money for the tankers will be the next thing now, at least that we got out to the works and the refinery and the field. And back to production. So as you can see here, we are out of fire and Walt is bogging down. Oh, and and the cars are shaking. Things are getting drastic. Things are getting real. Alright, see how well we come cruising around this. Yeah, Walt just makes that turn so much smoother than the bigger Locos do, so that's the nice thing there. But as you can see, it is not overpowering its way up the mountain. Nice view down the valley. Sure would like to use this at some point. Just not exactly sure how or with what we're gonna do with that yet, but would kind of like to use it. Nice rhythm that it sets into coming up this. Good look down there at the smelter. Still haven't removed very many trees, so you do not get crazy looks at the rail off in the distance like we used to on the old save file. That's one thing I've noticed. You know, like you can, if you look across, you can barely see where the track is on the other side of the valley. So, you know, keeping the track removal down has really kind of kept the track a secret almost. Excuse me. So that's kind of a big difference between this one and the old one. We had so much trees cut down on the old one, it was pretty clear to see every swath that was cut. Though this one I'm sure is going to start getting there as we, you know, start opening things up now for convenience. Alright, this little turn up here is the steepest section of this, so if we're going to have an issue, it's going to be right here on the curve. Ooh, she is bogging down. Ooh. Alright, there we go. Once she hits the switch, she'll be pulling. So, yeah, that's about as much as Montezuma is going to pull up that for sure. So, working Walt right up to the limit. So, working out good. That's it. I think we're going to call that a stick. And Walt is going to be the cordwood. This is it. That's a done deal. I don't know. We might be able to get a way car on the back. But that was pretty bogged down. So I guess we'll try it one time, pick up a way car with the intent of putting it on here, and if it doesn't work out, we'll just stick the way car on something else, I guess, will be the plan. But I do think we will try to throw a way car on there just for fun. I don't know. My recollection doesn't, I don't remember the way car being super heavy, I guess, is where I'm trying to go with this. Can take a look, see what we get. Way car is, ooh, it is 11,000 pounds. So it would be like hauling another car. So I don't think that these cars are even that heavy, and I don't know that we could just throw another car on there. So we might give it a shot, see what happens, but that may not work actually, because that was pretty bogged down coming across that final turn, and we were definitely at 100%. So there's nothing extra in there. It's not like we're gonna step on the gas a little more to come around that. And we had built fire back up by then, never lost boiler pressure, so that's about all it's ever gonna have in it. Going around that turn, so I don't know if it can handle another. I guess the weight car is heavier than I was thinking. Still nice and full. We did top off wood actually just recently with the 48 over there. 48 definitely handles the logs, and now that doubles as the steel pipe train, It does both, you know, steel pipes and logs, relatively easy. Definitely not one and done with the drop off for the logs. It does take 3 loads to get it done, but you know, they're pretty small, so they go pretty fast. Glenbrook is the longest train we have. Well, I guess the most rolling stock. It's got 6. 6 behind it, though we did step up the hoppers to 5, and there is a caboose, which we will be showing soon. Just not out to running that yet right now. Figured that the Montezuma load, this was going to be kind of a fun one, and I knew stretched out pretty well as far as weight, you know, locomotive to weight of the run and stuff. Well, so that's pretty cool. Like the way that this one works out. It's big enough to get it done, but not. It's definitely not overkill. It will be easy on water and wood consumption, and should make cordwood just kind of easy as far as, you know, less maintenance overall. Won't have too many things to worry about, I guess, is the thinking. Yeah, we go back up the cordwood side. And then the nice thing too is the Montezuma not being all that big handles these little bobbles and weebles pretty well, you know. That seems to be working out pretty well, so kind of digging that. Anything that makes cordwood kind of a little less of a hassle. Not a lot of fun running cordwood. Doesn't pay a lot. It's not a glorious job. It's just one of those workloads that keeps the iron rolling out. But you definitely have to be able to get it done. So I know he used to do twice as much as this one's doing, but again, this one is not per se about running less loads. It's kind of more about having some fun with the loads, and that's really the idea with this whole setup. We could do things easier, faster, but this one is about setting up for multiplayer and to see how much fun we can have running different locomotives with different kinds of loads. So that one is a winner. Montezuma getting the job done. I think we will call that one a win. Say thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you get a chance, like, share, subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel. Y'all have a great day.